All right, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about Ryan Garcia taking a big shot at Gervonta Davis, and based off something Floyd Mayweather Jr. and saying, look, you're never going to see Tank fight me or anybody else because it's not in his nature. While I don't agree with everything he says in that, he makes some very valid points. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So Ryan Garcia, one of the up-and-coming stars in the lightweight division, has something pretty hot to say about Gervonta Tank Davis, and it is pretty much that you're not going to see Gervonta Davis fight in any good fights because of what's going on with Mayweather Promotions. Floyd Mayweather Jr. having said, and he did say this, that they're looking to make an all in-house fights and keeping Gervonta Tank Davis' career in-house. And if you do that, just by, just logically, that's telling you that Gervonta Davis is not going to be fighting any of the best fighters around his weight class, because most of the guys that are around his weight class that are good are fighting outside. Now Ryan Garcia takes it a step farther and says that this is something that Gervonta Davis is in Gervonta Davis's nature, right? That he doesn't want tough competition, and that's why he's not going to fight these guys. And I'm telling you, I personally do not believe that. I've heard that Gervonta Davis himself really wants to have these fights, but that it is, it's a situation with Mayweather Promotions where Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Leonard Ellerbe have a direction that they're taking Tank, and that direction that they're taking him is to make him a very, very big star. And they're less concerned with him having, like really great fights on individual fights and fighting the best competition, that they're much more interested in the size of the fights increasing, and his stature as an attraction increasing over time. And they believe that that's the route that they're going to take with Gervonta Davis. So as me personally being somebody that is a big fan of Gervonta Davis and thinking that he's the best fighter around those weight classes, because other than Vasily Lomachenko, who was an older fighter now and who I've got a lot of respect for his skill set, I think Gervonta Davis will beat all of those guys, right? And so for me, it's like, I would prefer if Gervonta Davis fought all of those guys, fought the Teofimo Lopez, fought Ryan Garcia, fought Devin Haney, and prove that he was the best fighter there, because while he does that, he's going to be becoming a bigger and a bigger attraction, right? But Ryan Garcia is dead on, in what he's saying, if, from his perspective, right? Now, I don't know whether that means, Ryan Garcia is in a situation where he would actually fight, Gervonta Tank Davis, or whether that was, there was a lot of talk about that fight taking place. But I don't think that, that Oscar De La Hoya was too big on that fight taking place between the two of them either, man. So, I just think as far as a lightweight division goes, we are in a bad situation, man, and a really kind of a bad situation in boxing. And I talk about this on my live stream. It's just that there's a lot of things going on in boxing that really prevent big and good fights to being made, especially when fighters are young, right? Like, the idea, like, you'll have Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia is somebody that, over time probably could be a very big star. According to most people, in the way that they talk about him, he's attractive. He's attractive to women. He's somebody that is, has got a gregarious personality, and he can fight. So they want to take him through, being a prospect and building himself till he gets all his skills in order, and then after that have him fight, big mega fights. But the big mega fights, I'm telling you, I don't think any of these big mega fights are going to ever become mega if these guys never fight anybody. And why he points fingers at Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, as of today, has not really fought anybody that's been a major competition. And my understanding is that, he basically refused to fight. He was in a position to fight Devin Haney, and he didn't take the Devin Haney fight. And Devin Haney has the WBC regular title at that weight class. So, while Ryan Garcia is pointing fingers at at Gervonta Davis, that they say, one pointed at you, three pointed back at yourself. He's kind of in the same situation, as well. Teofimo Lopez is in that situation as well, because he's not taking a rematch with Vasily Lomachenko, even though, he did have the first fight with Lomachenko. It was a close fight. Lomachenko's calling for a second fight. There's really not anybody, that is as available for Teofimo to fight as somebody that is an in-house fight, with Top Rank in Lomachenko. But, he's saying, that's not, that there's bigger and better things, for me off in the distance, or, going up to 140 pounds and fighting Josh Taylor. Now, Teofimo Lopez may want to fight Josh Taylor, but more than likely Josh Taylor is going to be at 147 pounds before Teofimo Lopez even gets to the weight class, because he has one fight, and then after that he's saying he wants to move up to 147 and fight Terrence Crawford. So, the shame of this lightweight class, and I think it goes, pretty much across the board with the exception of Devin Haney. Devin Haney is somebody that I really do believe is calling to try to get these fights with these other guys, and if he was able to, if they were signed to make the fight with him, that he would actually take that fight. But other than that, I mean, it's a lot of, guys posturing about being about how good they are, and not really willing to get into the ring and fight anybody serious. Now, and that includes the fight that would be coming, the proposed fight that's coming up between Gervonta Tank Davis and Rolly Romero. That is not, in my personal opinion, that is not a legitimate fight. Rolly Romero is somebody that is like a Ricardo Mayorga type of fighter, somebody who's got a loud mouth and is really, and is a heavy puncher, a big mouth and a big punch, but that's about it. When he gets in there with somebody that is a skilled fighter that can fight him on the inside, or step to him or push him back, he's going to get beat. He's going to get ripped apart, man. You know what I mean? And especially if he moves up in weight and his power doesn't transition. Rolly Romero is just somebody that I think is the in-house type of fight that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is talking about. But, as far as Gervonta Davis is concerned, I believe that he's the best fighter in lightweight based on what I've seen, and I was supportive of him. And I'm supportive of him generally, man, him personally, because I really do believe that he wants to fight. He wants to take these fights, right? Which is a little bit different than what I think about Teofimo Lopez. I think Teofimo Lopez is probably playing some games, but Gervonta Davis, I think he has a realistic estimation of his skill set, right? Where he doesn't want to go up and fight Keith Thurmans and those guys at 147 pounds, at 147 pounds. But around the guys in his weight class, I think he really does want to fight these guys. It's just so happens that Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Leonard Ellerbe have a vision for him that is really not gonna culminate in that. And Ryan Garcia is 100% correct. If they get their way more, and they're being very bold about it. That's the thing that gets me. It's not like they're hiding it. They're being very bold about it. If they get their way, you're not going to see Gervonta Tank Davis fighting any major competition. You're going to see him in a bunch of events that are going to make him look good, and they're going to try to grow him slowly, but more accurately. They're just going to try to make money on him every fight over a long period of time and never take a risk. And I just think that would be such a shame for Gervonta Davis's career. And really, as a boxing fan, it just, since he's such a linchpin in the lightweight division and something, a guy that is, the most popular around that weight class, if he's going to refuse to fight, be refused to the guys there, then that whole division is never really going to take off. And we could very well be missing a golden era in boxing. So anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.